Hello knitting friends, welcome to my knitting room. My name is Melissa and this is the Stitches Be Slippin podcast. This is a podcast mostly about knitting, sometimes crochet, sometimes other things, quite often other things because I have ADHD and I get distracted very easily. My name is Melissa. I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. You can find me on Instagram at Stitches Be Slippin. My just fair warning, this episode may be a little bit unhinged. My brain is going really fast these days. My meds are not quite keeping up with me, and so we'll see how this goes. So just fair warning, this could be a massive shit show. I have a lot of stuff to talk about. My kids are home. They are on fall break. Like, we needed another break. I actually counted in the calendar, and out of 11 weeks that they have been in school for this school year, only 4 of them have been full weeks, like Monday to Friday. Every other week they've had either one day off or multiple days off. So this is a new thing. We've never had a fall break before, but now we have it. So they have, today is Thursday, I'm recording this on a Thursday, so they have Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, of course, and then Monday, Tuesday off. So yeah, so they are downstairs playing video games. We have video game rules. They have a certain number of minutes of video games that they're allowed to play during the week, and then a certain number of minutes they're allowed to play on the weekend. In talks with all of our friends that have kids, our numbers are very low compared to what other kids get, but it is very important to us that they're not spending their entire lives playing video games. They have each other. They're very close in age, and they're really good at playing with each other and finding stuff to do, so we don't let them play video games very often. However, they are home, and I wanted to get my podcast recorded, and so I gave them a few extra video game minutes, and hopefully I can do this in the time I have allotted them, or else they'll just sit down there and keep playing until I'm done. So yeah, it has been almost 2 weeks since my last episode. I think the last episode I recorded was on a Friday, and then the next day I did this. So I was skateboarding in my basement, and it was going great. I was dropping in, I was doing some rock to fakies. I'll show you up here. Don't worry, this isn't a video of me hurting myself. This is what I was doing. And I was doing great. And then a few practices, or whatever you want to say, after that video, my front wheels got caught up. So I'm going like up on the ramp and kind of pausing and then coming back down. And I paused, and when I was coming back down, my front wheels got stuck on the pipe. It's called the pipe at the top of the ramp is called the coping. I don't know why, but my wheels got stuck on the coping, and I went down real hard backwards. In skateboarding, they call it slam. When you crash, they call it having a slam. So I slammed hard. I slammed on my tailbone, like directly in the middle of my tailbone. And when I went down really hard. I put my wrist down and like my whole body weight went into my wrist. So yeah, I thought, I was pretty sure that I had broken my wrist. I was wearing my wrist guards, as you will have seen in the video. I was wearing my wrist guards, my knee pads, my elbow pads, my helmet, everything. And so thankfully, because I think I probably would have shattered my wrist if I hadn't been wearing my wrist guards. So that was on a Saturday. On Monday, I went to a walk-in clinic and got an x-ray requisition, and the x-ray came back okay. So she said it's probably just a bad sprain, to wear the brace for a couple weeks, and she said that there was a note on the x-ray that it still could have like a hairline fracture on that bone, and they just couldn't see it through like the swelling and inflammation or whatever you want to call it, because it was like very close to post injury when I had it x-rayed, and if it's not better in a couple weeks, to go back and get another x-ray. So it has been almost 2 weeks since then, and I've the first, I don't know, 2-3 days it was really hurting a lot, and then I was wearing my brace. This is this bad boy, and then it was feeling a lot better. Like I had the first few days I didn't have very much range of movement or whatever you want to call it, and then after that it was better. But the part where it actually, like the injury, I don't know if you want, like, it's on my arm. Anyway, that part, there's certain movements that I can't do. Like, I haven't been able to work, which, I feel terrible that my midlife crisis hobby, or whatever you want to call it, I injured myself doing that, and now I can't, it's like interfering with my job. I can't work. I offered to be like the shop girl that's like twisting and labeling and whatever, but Shelly has lots of shop girls that do that are awesome at it and probably way better at it than I am. My job, sorry if you didn't know, I work at Polka Dot Creek Yarn in the back as a yarn dyer, and that job involves a lot of lifting heavy pots and lifting heavy trays and like squeezing water out of yarn and stuff like that. And of course, my injury that I've done to myself, I can do pretty much everything else with my arm and my wrist, and I cannot do those things. I can't lift something heavy like this. It really hurts still, and I can't, I think I could probably squeeze. I could try it with my brace on. That would probably work better, but then I wouldn't be able to, like, my brace would get all wet and vinegar and stuff all over it, so it just wasn't in the cards for me to work while I'm injured. So I think I actually might need to go get another x-ray and see if there is a little hairline fracture in there, because it doesn't seem to be getting that much better. Anyway, that was a long talk about me being stupid. Hands up if you could have predicted this happening. Yes, I'm 45 years old, and yes, I started skateboarding. Some people would call it a midlife crisis. I did just call it a midlife crisis. I mean, maybe it is, but I don't see it that way. I'm just one of those people who collects new hobbies. Like, some people collect things as their hobby. I collect hobbies as my hobby. Yeah, skateboarding is just one of them. My kids were really into it, and I was sitting on the bench knitting while they were like rolling around having a blast at skate parks and stuff. And I thought, well, it looks like fun. So I tried it, and it was really fun, and I turned out to be actually decent at it until I did this. So I don't consider it a midlife crisis, but maybe it is, who knows. People who are going through midlife crisis are like, it's not a midlife crisis. So it is what it is. I'm a little nervous to start skateboarding again. I've been considering, like, should I just stop skateboarding, because I don't really want to keep hurting myself, but it's really fun. So we'll see. Anyway, that's what happened. I was posting things on Instagram about it, and my friend Susan, who lives in Calgary, her Instagram name is Not a Lazy Susan, but it's S-U-Z-E-N. She's a librarian. She's awesome. She's very funky and works at a library here in Calgary. She's an awesome librarian, and she also teaches classes at Stash, and knitting classes, I mean. And she recently, last year, fell and smashed her elbow and like shattered her elbow and had to have surgery, and like terrible, way worse than I've injured myself. But she had some great advice. She said her best advice was get yourself a big Squishmallow and use it to prop up your arm while you're icing and elevating. So this is my son's Squishmallow, and I've borrowed him for the last couple weeks. Well, really just kind of the first week. But he's the perfect size, so I can sit, and you're like, so you have to elevate, so it's above your heart, and I was icing and elevating, and then I could still do stuff with my other hand, so that came in very handy. So thank you so much, Susan, for your awesome advice. That worked really well. Yeah, so after I injured myself, standing in the kitchen, had my brace on, and I was like, I don't know, 3/4 of the way through my MCAL, which we'll talk about in a minute. And I was like, I can't knit. What am I gonna do? Like, I have all this time. What am I gonna do? And I was freaking out. And I was standing there, my husband was sitting there like looking at stuff on his phone, and I was like, what am I gonna do? I don't have anything, I can't knit. What am I gonna do? And I was like, is this how you feel all the time? He's like, yeah. Like, oh my God, this is the worst feeling. Like, I was like, I've never had a panic attack, and I don't want to diminish people who have had panic attacks, but I felt like I was ramping myself up to have a panic attack because I did not know what to do with myself. So that may like require a little bit of a deeper dive, because I seem to have built my entire life around my ability to knit, and if that gets permanently taken away from me, I'm really fucked. Anyway, after a few days, I figured out that I could knit with my brace on. I just had to kind of hold it funny hold my tongue the right way, and then I could do it. And then after a few days more after that, I found that I could knit without my brace on, and it wasn't hurting the part that was hurting. So I was off to the races again and didn't need to really contemplate my life anymore because I had knitting back. And I have done a lot of knitting because I haven't been able to work. And last week my kids were in school, and so I got a lot of knitting done. And yeah, this week not so much. Well, I've still been actually getting quite a bit of knitting done, but not so much. My kids were at school because my oldest has been sick, very, very sick. He started getting sick on Sunday night. He was like not really himself, and then Monday morning he woke up with a raging fever. Anyway, he's been very sick. He's been home all this week from school, and just like 40, 41 degree fever. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, sorry, but it's very, very high. So I've just been trying to pump liquid Advil, liquid Tylenol, all that kind of stuff into him. It was working the first day. The second day, it didn't touch it. Yesterday, it started working a little bit again, but he had his tonsils and adenoids removed when he was in grade one or grade 2. And after that, we had to give him alternating Tylenol and Advil every 3 hours, like even waking up in the middle of the night to give it to him every 3 hours. I can't remember how long that was, but it was enough that he absolutely hates the taste of that stuff now. Like, it's a trauma for him, I guess. So it's very hard to get that stuff into him. He quite often gags and throws it back up. So that's been also a struggle. Yeah. Anyway, it's been a very rough couple of weeks. So, yeah. Anyway, what else has happened? Right after I hurt myself, like immediately after I hurt myself, actually, I was skateboarding just to pass a little bit of time until we had our appointments to get our vaccinations. So me and my 2 boys went and got our COVID boosters and flu shots at the same time. And so I got them in this arm. So I had like a sore arm from my shots and my wrist. But that was good. My husband got his shots too. He just, his office organizes a nurse to come in and then everyone can get their shots. So don't worry, he's not like, Anyway, yeah, and then Halloween happened. Thank you everybody who left me supporting, encouraging, loving comments after I talked about Halloween in my last episode. This Halloween was fine. I mean, that's my friend is always in the back of my mind on Halloween for sure. But my kids had a great time. We did lots of trick-or-treating and they got lots of candy. We've been doing the Switch Witch ever since they were kind of old enough to really go out and trick-or-treat and get a lot of candy. If you don't know what the Switch Witch is, it's like they leave out all of their candy and then the Switch Witch comes and leaves them a toy or something and then takes their candy. So we used to do all of their candy because, I mean, it was a lot. They're old enough now that they're not gonna sit there and eat their entire bowl of candy or whatever. So we let them keep quite a bit. We let them just kind of filter through it and keep the stuff they like. And then there's still like a giant pile of candy they're giving up to the Switch Witch. It's really just kind of a fun way to give them toys. And also the Switch Witch really likes getting all the candy. So that's like, you can see that little basket over there that has all the Switch Witch candy in it. Anyway, so they're happy about that. My youngest was talking about the Switch Witch at school, like in the week leading up to Halloween, and he was telling all his friends about it, and he's like, yeah, it's great, like you leave out your candy and then the Switch Witch brings you like this awesome toy or whatever. And his friends were all like, yeah, I'm gonna try that. I was like, oh, I don't know, guys, like I think the Switch Witch might need like a little more heads up, or like I don't know if that's gonna work for you. And so the day after Halloween, he came home and he said, my friend Evan, he tried the Switch Witch and he left his candy out and he got craft supplies. Like this was the worst possible outcome. Like, and it probably was for this kid. Like he thought he was probably gonna get like a Nerf gun or something, and he got craft supplies and he was legit like, what the fuck, Reese? Like, that was not cool. So I feel bad for poor Evan and for poor Evan's mom. Like, sorry. My son's other friend left out like 2 pieces of candy and didn't get anything. So I was like, yeah, that's not how it works. But anyway, oh, my mail carrier just dropped by. Anyway, so yes, also our kids' school had a Halloween dance. It was on November 2nd, so nobody was really in the mood to, like, there's a lot of Halloween leading up to Halloween, and then Halloween was over, and then we had to wait 2 days and then go to the Halloween dance. But it was fine. The boys had a great time. My husband wasn't there. He had a work thing, so I just went with the boys. And you can, like, they set it up so you can pre-order food. So we pre-ordered, it was just pizza. And so we picked up the pizza, and then they had a bunch of the classrooms open with tables so you could sit and eat. And then the gym was open with like music and lights and like a DJ for the dance. And there was some classrooms had like crafts set up, and one classroom had a movie going, the Coco movie. And so we went into one of those classrooms just to eat, and one of my kids' friends' parents was in there that I chat with. So I just sat in there the whole time and chatted with him, and some friends of his came in and sat down, and we were chatting together. And the mom was wearing a sweater that I was positive had been hand knit, and I just kept like looking at it and thinking, is that hand knit? And So then I was talking about, they asked what happened to my wrist. I was wearing my brace, and I said, you know, my kids started skateboarding and I was just sitting there knitting on the bench and watching them, and like she kind of perked up. Her husband was like pointing at her like, that's you. And so we figured out that she was also a knitter, like a good knitter. We were talking about all the stuff we've made, and like we chatted for like the entire dance. So like an hour and a half, 2 hours, sat and chatted about knitting and looking at each other's Instagrams and following each other. So hi, Nicole, if you're out there, if you're watching. I think we're planning on gonna go to some knit nights together. She said she doesn't have any really in-person knitting friends. So I'm like, I'll be your in-person knitting friend. I love having in-person knitting friends. So that's exciting. I met another knitter. Anyway, yeah, that happened. And then this past weekend, my husband and I went to a fundraiser gala, so that was kind of fun, actually. Oh shoot, I meant to bring that in here. I don't usually like going to those things, but there's a certain amount of that he has to do for work, and so the other people that were at our table with us were from his work, like other people that he works with, and it was a really good group of people. So that was good. It was fun. It was like we actually had fun and chatted and had good conversations, and so that was good. But I was really proud of myself because I was getting ready, and like I know when you go to these things, you're sitting at this table for like a good hour and a half, 2 hours. Like they like bring one course out, and then there's speakers, and they're talking about all these things and like why you should give money, and there's silent auction, and there's like all this stuff. So there's multiple speakers, and the speakers would speak for like 20 minutes at a time and whatever. And so I've been to these, and I know, and I was like, I really, really want to bring my knitting so I can knit like at the table while they're talking. And I didn't have like a fancy like clutch or evening bag or whatever. And then I thought, I really need like a black, like sparkly something that's big enough to fit like a ball of yarn in it, because I was just gonna work on the brim of a hat that I had started. And then I thought, I made a like sparkly black tank top, and like it has straps. I wonder, and so I like went upstairs and grabbed it, and I tied the hem into a knot and turned it into a project bag. So I'll put a picture here. I was so fucking proud of myself for thinking of this. So it was perfect. I put my phone in it. I put my cake of yarn and my needles and my lipstick, and it was perfect. And I sat and knitted during all the speakers. I finished the brim of my hat, all the ribbing. I'll put a picture up here of me knitting at the event in my sparkly, sparkly dress. And I was very, very happy with myself about that. Yeah. One of the other ladies that was there that my husband works with is a knitter, and so she appreciated what I was up to, and everyone else didn't really seem to think it was that weird, so that was good. Yeah, and speaking of fundraisers, there is a fundraiser coming up next week. If you're local, I'm sure you've heard about it if you're local and on Instagram, but I talked last episode about the fire that they had at Prairie Spirit Alpacas. Their barn burned down and they lost some animals. They lost a lot of their inventory of things that they sell, etc. And they need to rebuild their barn. And so a fundraiser is being held in their support, with all the money going to Prairie Spirit Alpacas. Go check out Chinook Knits on Instagram. I'll put her Instagram handle here. There's links. You can buy tickets. It's on Tuesday, November 14th. If you're local, I think it's in Riverbend. But go check it out. You can buy tickets, and there's tons and tons and tons of awesome like silent auction things that you can bid on and raise money for Carmen and Prairie Spirit Alpacas. I have a kind of funny story about prairie spirit alpacas I'll tell you later in my FOs. Yeah, I think that's all that's been happening and is exciting. I've talked for like almost 25 minutes now, so this is a little obnoxious. I just have to, this is just how I work. I have to like unload everything off my brain before I can talk about the things that I am here to talk about. So I apologize. Once again, I'll put a timestamp at the beginning to let you know when to. Oh, there's one other kind of interesting thing that happened just a few days ago. Like I said, my older son's been at home sick, and so we went to school to pick up my younger son, and I had gotten an email that afternoon that there had been a bobcat on the school grounds, and so the kids had to stay inside for their afternoon recess. Someone had seen a bobcat like walking through the school parking lot, I think, or in the soccer field or something beside the school, and so they had to stay in. And so I was like, okay. So we went to pick him up, and they just let everybody out as usual, so I assumed the bobcat was gone, and we were driving out past the school and to go up and out, and there was a bunch of like cars stopped, and there were people standing there, and I was like, oh, the bobcat. It was in someone's front lawn, and it had caught a hare, like we have a lot of big like not bunny rabbits, but like hares, like snowshoe hares that run around all over the place. And it had caught a fairly big one and had it in its mouth, and it was on the front lawn of these people's house that live right across the street from the school. And people were standing there with their little kids, like kindergarten kids, like trying to get close and take pictures of it. And it was like put the rabbit down and was like, like, I was like, you people need to back the hell up from that thing, because it is gonna attack your kids. And like, anyway, that was kind of crazy. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a bobcat in real life before. It was something else. Anyway, I'll talk about knitting now, because I've been sitting here wearing this for 27 minutes now and haven't talked about it yet. So this will be the what I'm wearing section of this episode. And this is my finished Stephen West Geo Gradient Mystery Knit Along shawl. I'm very proud of myself that I finished it. I was very worried coming in, because a lot of people and a lot of previous MCALs have given up after Clue 1 or Clue 2 or whatever. This MCAL in particular I seem to have picked the right one to do, because this one was very manageable. It was not like an insane amount of knitting as some previous ones have been. I found it very enjoyable. It is a very wearable shape. I didn't find anything like too complicated. His videos were great, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. So this is my MCAL, my Geo Gradient MCAL. So I'm terrible at putting on and styling shawls, so once this comes off, I probably won't put it back on, because I'll just make a fool out of myself, but I will take it off and show you. This is my Swifty shirt. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. This is from Zen Lion Design on Instagram. I'll put a link to her website, I think, below. As always, I'll put links down below in my show notes for patterns, pattern names, designers, yarn, dyers, etc. So this is my Geo Gradient. So this square, big square in the middle, which got a lot bigger after blocking because it's garter stitch. This was Clue 1. Then the eyelet rows were Clue 2 on both sides. Okay, and then Clue 3, I can't remember where I was in the last episode. This was Clue 4. Oh yeah, I said my stitches were slipping. So this was Clue 3, sorry. All of these slip stitch texture, which was really fun, but also took a lot longer than it looks like it should have taken. That was a lot of slip stitches. And then clue four. So clue four, we had to pick up all the way along here, all the way along. So yeah, we had to pick up 500 stitches, 500 I-cord stitches. So that took a minute. And then the clue was this beautiful border with all these dip stitches, is what he calls them. It's a really fun technique. I've never done before. Not hard, but yes, very time consuming. So these, I only did, I think, 3 of them and then bound off. So they were 500 stitch rows, and then after you do each of these dip stitches, like each one of these doubles your stitch count. So by the end of one of these rows, you have 1,000 stitches. And then you go back along and like reduce it in the next row back to 500. And anyway, there were some good rest rows. Like there was, I don't know, however many rows in between just of like stockinette stitch. So you weren't doing that frequently, but it was very time consuming. And then of course at the end, like I-cord bind off 500 stitches, because Stephen West is Stephen West, and Stephen West loves some I-cord. So I don't actually mind I-cord that much. It's whatever. A lot of people have some real feelings about I-cord, but it is what it is. I didn't mind doing the I-cord bind off, but this is blocked, and the I-cord edging still is kind of like rolling, sort of like when you start knitting stockinette without ribbing, how that rolls up. So I don't really love that. They're part of the pattern border is optional tassels, and I wasn't really feeling like making tassels, but I feel like that might help that I-cord not roll anymore. And I don't know, it feels like it's good. It feels like a finished shawl, but it also feels like it's maybe sort of missing something. I don't know. If we're being honest, I'm probably not likely ever gonna go back and tie tassels onto it, and I'll just put up with it. But yeah, so that, where am I at? I'm back. I was going to show you the yarn that I used. I've showed it in previous episodes, but I want to show it again because it is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And like, I loved working with it and how soft it was. And then I blocked it, and after blocking, it is even softer. Like, it feels unbelievable. So this yarn is from Polka Dot Creek, where I work, and this is a new base to us. We've only had for maybe like a month or so. We got it in just before the MCAL started, and I was like, that's what I want. And so I dyed up some colors. The gradient is, this is color number 1. It is called Vintage. It is a really, really light blushy pink. Color number 2 is Dusty Rose. Color number 3 is Antique Mauve. Like, look at the twist. Oh, I love it so much. It twists and then just makes it so squishy. And color 4 is Chestnut. So that is my gradient. And I think it turned out really, really, really beautiful. I'm like tempted actually to do another one. I'm not going to, but I'm tempted to make it with something lighter. Like, I really love this color. I think it's beautiful, but adding that in to my project just made the overall project darker, which is fine. That's what it's supposed to be. But I think I've seen a lot of projects that people have made with that didn't have the like really dark. Anyway, I really like it. I'm very proud of myself to say that I have knitted and completed a Stephen West MCAL. It's kind of like a little notch on my knitter's belt in my knitting career. I will probably do another one, to be honest. Yeah, it was fun. Okay, is there anything else I needed to, I don't know. I don't think there's anything else I needed to say about that. What else I'm wearing? This is my Amapola cardigan. I've talked about this a number of times. I wear this cardigan like almost daily. This was a kit that I got from Unit in Toronto, and it was, I think, Drops Air held together with, I think it was Tin Silk Mohair. I think they still have kits in their shop. This design was designed by one of their employees as well. So it's called the Amapola cardigan. I'll put the link below for the pattern and for the kit on the Unit Toronto website. Yeah, I wear this constantly. It's one of my favorite knits that I've ever made. Okay, so my FOs, my MCAL was my big FO. After I finished my MCAL, I was like, I just want to make something little and quick. I had my clove sweater still on the needles that still needed sleeves, and I couldn't bring myself to pick it up quite yet. So I cast on 2 things, and I finished one of them. The other one is in my going to be in my whips. Where did I put it? I think last episode I talked about when I went to Fiber Shindig here in Calgary, and I purchased, have you ever noticed when you're watching knitting podcasts that American makers, whatever you want to call it, American podcasters, never say I bought. They always say I purchased. And like, I don't know, there's nothing wrong with that. That's something that I've noticed. I always say I bought or I got or whatever. And then I was just watching a few American podcasts last night. So then I just said I purchased. Anyway, at the last Fiber Shindig, speaking of Prairie Spirit alpacas, I went to their booth and bought some yarn because I wanted to support them. And they had a sample of the Alpine Bloom hat there, and it was the softest yarn I'd ever touched. I said that in my last podcast. It is the softest yarn I have ever touched. It is unbelievable soft yarn. And so I bought a kit in the colors that they had made their sample, and I also bought 2 other skeins to make the same hat in these other colors that are kind of more me colors. Not really more me colors. They're actually inspired by a Colorado knitter who is Mari, and I think she's made an Alpine Bloom hat and an Alpine Bloom tee in sort of similar. These colors are her vibe for sure, this icy blue. So I bought these 2 colors, and so I cast on my Alpine Bloom hat. This is the hat that I knit the ribbing at that fundraiser gala, and I did not swatch. Weird, I know, right? And I just used the recommended needle size. And this is what happened. Like, it's beautiful. This isn't blocked yet, and it looks very bumpy here, but it's coming up quite nice in the sun, or the natural light anyway. It's gorgeous. The pattern is absolutely beautiful. It turned out quite nice. But like, can you see how big it is? I'm pretty sure I could fit 2 of my heads inside this. So yeah, clearly Caitlin Hunter is a much smaller, tighter knitter than I am. I think in particular row gauge, my row gauge is significantly larger. I mean, it is pretty wide around. It's very, so it is so unbelievably soft and squishy though. Like I just saved this. I didn't cut my yarn. It's still attached to my cakes in my bag. I just wanted to show this because it's hilarious. Like when I put it on, that's cute with my bangs. But like I put it on and this is how much, this is where my head stops and this is how much bigger it is. Like it fully, it's ridiculous. Oh, there's me. And I wrecked my hair. So anyway, I will be ripping this out and re-knitting it on significantly smaller needles. I think her recommendation was 3.75 millimeter needles. So I think I'll probably be going down 3 or 4 needle sizes. I'll probably go down to like a 2.75, I think. It's recommended sport weight yarn. This is sport weight yarn. I mean, that's what Carmen calls it, a sport weight yarn. So it does feel thicker. It feels kind of like it's almost leaning towards a DK weight. But anyway, I just thought that was funny. So yeah, the yarn is Prairie Spirit alpacas, like I said. She doesn't have like colorway names. She just has, I think this is, I don't know. They're just really nice colors. They're like a dark gray and a really beautiful icy blue. And I don't know if you can see, you can't see the halo on there. Maybe if I do, yeah. But like it's 100% alpaca yarn. So it's got like a little bit of a fuzzy halo. And it is truly the softest yarn on the planet. And I will be remaking that once I'm less annoyed with myself. Anyway, this was living in this project bag, this is like a rifle paper fabric and then cork with rainbow in the bottom, which is my favorite. The maker is called Daydreams of Quilts. And she's a Canadian and like local-ish, I think, project bag maker. I'll see if she has like an Etsy shop or something and list it down below. So that was one FO. And then after I finished that, I did pick up my clove sweater and swore at it a lot because I was knitting striped sleeves, which really blows chunks, to be honest. But I powered through and I finished the second sleeve last night because I knew I was going to record today and I wanted it to be done. And I wanted it to be done so I can wear it. So it has not been blocked yet. That's why I'm not wearing it, because it looks like I just need, my stitches are very uneven. And so I need to block it so I can, oh, here she is. So this is the Clove Sweater by Rachel Kurihara. It has a split seam on this, or a split hem on the side. And I always knit the back just a little bit longer than the front because that's just how I like it. It is a drop shoulder pattern and I added in the stripes. I just looked around at a bunch of different like patterns that were meant for stripes and this was what I came up with, like most of the chest up here, just in the solid main color, and then starting the stripes down here. And it worked out really well, actually. I know it looks kind of funny here with the stripes going this way and the stripes going this way, but when I put it on, it lands like the stripes go almost all the way across. It worked out really well. So yeah, this is my second clove sweater. It looks really cute on. I promise that I will block it and I'll try to remember to wear it on my next podcast. So that is that. I will show you the yarn again that I was using. I bought this yarn in Montreal when I went to Knit City with my friend Karen. Hi Karen, if you're watching. And I bought it at the Sonder Yarn Company booth. And the colors, oh, that's that one. I don't have a full untwisted skein of this one left, but yeah, okay. So this was the main color. It's it looks undyed, but it's dyed a little bit, and it's called Flat White. And this is the Sunday Morning DK base, which is 75% BFL and 25% Masham. So it is a non-superwash DK. It is really, really, really light. Like, this weighs nothing. It is a DK weight sweater, but it is really, really light. Like, when you're wearing it, it doesn't hang on you. It just exists, which is really nice. I don't like a lot of those like superwash, like smooth merino, like they're beautiful and so gorgeous, but a lot of times they're just so heavy and they feel like they hang, and I'm not a big fan of that. Anyway, this was the main color, flat white, and this is my contrast color. It's called Cover to Cover. It's a really beautiful deep dark blue. So I really enjoyed like I said, this is the second one I've made. My purple one, I made a purple one in the same yarn in the colorway, and that was like all over the same color, no stripes, and I wear that one a lot, and I'm going to wear this one a lot, and I'm going to make more of this for sure, because the fit, I love the fit of it. I love the boxiness. I love the sort of a little bit cropped. I love the drop shoulder. I love it. I highly recommend. It's a very easy pattern to follow. It's really well written. Again, Clove by Rachel Kurihara. I will put the link to the pattern in Ravelry down below. And yeah, I think that was all I had to say about that one. What else have I got in here? Any treasures? No treasures in my bag today. This is the project bag that I was using for this. This is bag that my mom made for me for my birthday this year. It is the pattern is it's the Fringe Supply Co. used to make project bags, and they don't make them anymore, but you can buy the pattern from Grain Line Studio. You can buy a full kit with all the fabric and everything. I don't think Mom bought the kit. She just bought this fabric and the handles and stuff elsewhere and followed the pattern to make this for me for my birthday. I have a number of actual fringe bags, and I use them all the time, and Mom knows that I love them, and so she made me one for my birthday, so that was nice. So I will try and remember to wear that sweater next time. I cannot wait. I wanted to block it. I wanted to like soak it and block it this morning, but I had to wait so I could show everyone that I finished it, and as soon as I hit stop recording on this, it is going in the bath. I really, really hope that the blue doesn't bleed. I don't have any color catchers. Maybe I should go get some color catchers. I don't know if you can buy them at like, just go to Walmart or something and buy them. I'm not sure. I should look into that. I'm really scared that the blue is gonna bleed. Anyway, what is my other FO? Hang on, I didn't bring it. Over here. Okay, when I was panicking about not being able to knit, I was like, what can I do? Because I had my hand up on my Squishmallow. I was like, I can still use this hand. What can I do with one hand? And so I still had this diamond painting kit that I had bought after I finished my last one that I obsessed over. And I hadn't started this one yet. So this was perfect. So this is my little diamond painting that I did. It's a little rainbow heart. I love it so much. And when I bought that kit, I bought this frame to go with it. This is where I just bought these both from Michael's. And yeah, this was a really easy one. It was a lot of the same color, like lots of big chunks of the same color, which was really nice. My other one, I had to like switch colors a lot, and that was kind of annoying. But it only took me like a day and a half or 2 days because I couldn't do anything else. So this is what I did. I really love it. I think it's so cute. It's so cute. Anyway, that is my other FO. So, yeah. Now and just a reminder, I think in my last episode or the one before that, I showed my Comfort Zone shawl. And I will just show you it again quickly. And just a reminder that this pattern is now out on Ravelry. So this is my Comfort Zone shawl. It is a very quick, easy, oh, I'm so bad at this. It's nice, like triangle. I'm not gonna even keep that on because I'm terrible at that. It takes me like 20 minutes to get it into the right place. But this is a pattern by my friend Nicole, who is Prof Purl on Instagram, Professor Purl on YouTube. She has a great YouTube channel that I absolutely love watching. Yeah, so this pattern is just one skein of fingering and one skein of mohair or suri or whatever. Well, probably more than one skein of suri because suri has less yardage per skein than mohair, but I used one skein of fingering and one skein of mohair, and it got me this really nice, really good sized shawl. It's a very easy repeat. You don't have to keep looking at your pattern. It's very easy to follow. It is named the Comfort Zone shawl because I told Nicole as I was testing this shawl, this is my comfort zone. This is fingering and mohair, which is my favorite, all-time favorite combination of yarns to knit with. It is on large needles, which creates a beautiful drape, which is my favorite. I love knitting things on large needles because of the drape and because they knit up so fast. And yeah, so you should go get a copy of the pattern. This would be a great gift knit if you're looking for something that's easy and quick to knit. This did not take me long to knit at all, maybe less than a week. And it's drapey and it's cozy, and yeah, I just wanted to remind you. I'll put a link below to the Ravelry page with the pattern. And yeah, just a reminder, Comfort Zone shawl is now available. What else have I got? Okay, moving on to whips. Nope, that's not the right one. I don't have very many whips going on right now because I just finished that sweater, finished my MCAL. I didn't have a lot of other stuff going on. I mean, I have other whips that I've abandoned, but I don't consider them whips anymore. They're just kind of like buried somewhere. So that's that. After I finished my Comfort Zone shawl by Nicole with Prof Purl, she sent out a coupon code to all the testers for a free pattern of hers. So I went on her Ravelry page and I found the Selena socks, which I will put a title here of how to spell Selena socks because it's spelled a little differently. And I'll put a link down below to the pattern. It is a DK weight sock, but it's fingering and mohair held together. So yes, please. I haven't made socks in about a bajillion years. When I very first started knitting, well, I started crocheting. I crocheted really hard for a while, and then I got interested in knitting. The first thing I knit was like a rectangle shawl or scarf or whatever that everyone does. And then I started knitting socks, and I knit so many socks and socks and socks and socks, and I got real burnt out on socks, and I haven't made socks for a long time. But I saw this pattern, and I love Nicole, Prof Purl, and I love fingering and mohair held together. So I cast on the Selena socks. I'm very sorry to say this, Nicole, but I actually am using the yarn that I was using for her other pattern called Wool Gathering, the Wool Gathering shawl, which is an absolutely beautiful, gorgeous shawl, which I do fully intend to knit one day. I had started it and then I stalled out on it and it just wasn't going anywhere. So I really love the yarn and the color and stuff that I was using for it. So I actually am using the yarn that I was using for that. So I have finished one, and it might be I haven't blocked it, and it might be a little dirty because as soon as I finished this sock, I put it on my foot and then I wore it all day. I wore this sock and a regular sock all day. I did not want to take it off. It is so cozy. Her pattern calls for it to be like a full-size sock. I prefer shorter socks. I find with knitted socks that they just like slouch down and fall down, and that drives me fucking crazy. So this is my first Selena sock. This yarn that I'm using, I showed before when I was talking about my Wool Gathering shawl, but I will show you again. Look at how cute this is. It's like just sort of broken rib pattern on the top. I actually did a heel flap and gusset, people. Like, I'm full on in doing this here is my, I cast on my second sock. No second sock syndrome here. So I did the top, and then I've done my heel flap, and I just need to start turning my heel. I've had it in my head for a really long time that I hate doing heel flap and gusset. And I was like, well, I'm just going to do it because that's what Nicole says to do in the pattern, and I'm going to do what Nicole tells me to do. And I actually really enjoyed it. So I don't know what's come over me. I broke my wrist, and now I'm a completely different person, apparently. So that is my second one, but I was going to show you my yarn. I'm holding this is a single, so it's a single ply, not plied yarn, I guess. And this is the mohair. I bought these at the Beehive Wool Shop in Victoria when I was there last summer, I think. This summer maybe. They call it the Halo Bundle. And the dyer is called Fleece Artist. Well, there's Handmaiden and Fleece Artist. They're two brands sort of under the same company. So one of these, I think this one is Fleece Artist and this one is Handmaiden. So this is just a single, I think it's 100% superwash merino slim, 100% superwash merino. That's Fleece Artist. That's this one. And then, uh-oh, I hear my kids. And the mohair is Handmaiden Fine Yarn. Angel Hair is what it's called. So it's 70% mohair and 30% nylon. So that's this one. And the colorway is rose gold. So yeah, that's what I'm using, and it is beautiful. I am consistent, if nothing else, obviously. And yeah, so I'm having a lot of fun with those. Now that I've finished my striped sweater, I think this second sock will be done in no time. My project is living in my best project bag I've ever had, and it is my emotional support yarn bag. This bag was made by Creek Gardens Crafts, who is Penny, who is Shelly's mom. Shelly owns Polka Dot Creek. It's all a big family. I came up with this idea when I was out at our cabin this summer because I was carrying my project bag with me everywhere I went, regardless of if I was knitting on it or not. And I started joking that it was my emotional support yarn. And so I came home and I asked Penny if she would make a custom project bag for me that has emotional support yarn on it. So I got to pick out the fabrics and she put that on, and it's the best bag ever. My kids are out there right now. They can hear me. So I gotta try to wrap this up. We're also pet sitting my mother-in-law's dog, and she's a big dog and she kind of just does whatever she wants. So that was my son yelling off to the dog who was doing something. I also started, when I was doing all of my one-handed crafts and thinking that I couldn't knit, I started making this embroidery. These are all yarn balls. And this is a kit by, do I have it on here? It is called shop.knittedbliss.com is her website. This is the one that I'm doing right here. It has multicolored yarn balls on it. It is so cute. I actually got to meet her. Her name is Julie. I've had this kit for a long time, but she had kits and was vending at Knit City, Montreal. So I got to meet her and visit with her a little bit when I was there. These are all the colors that come in the kit. Isn't it so cute? I love it. I love like all the rainbow colors. They're all scrunched up together because they've been in this little project bag. I have this cross-stitch project bag. My mom is a huge cross stitcher. She's a quilter and a cross stitcher. She does a lot of cross stitching, and I was at her place and I saw this and I was like, ooh, I really like that. And she was like, you can have it. So I took it. It has this cute little thing on there, but this is what my project has been living in. So Julie is the name of the person who runs this, Knitted Bliss, and I will put a link to her shop below and stuff. She has a lot of really cute knitting related embroidery projects. I think I showed a while ago, I can show this. I made this not too long ago, and I think just after Knit City, when I bought this at Knit City, and it's a knitter wearing a knitted sweater, starting to knit another knitted sweater, which, yeah, that's me. So she has lots of really cute knitting related projects. I really have to wrap this up because my kids are out there. I was going to talk just about a few acquisitions. I can't show you them because they haven't come yet. I was feeling kind of sorry for myself the other day because my wrist, I can't work. I've been feeling really, really guilty that I can't work. And like I've joked before that I'm the world's least reliable employee, and I am living up to it again. It's like, it's not cute anymore. It's just a fact. I am very unreliable, and I feel really bad that Shelly is trying to run a business and I am a part of that, and I just haven't been showing up lately. So Shelly, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry. I'm really trying to come back. I wanted to go back this week just with my brace on and see how it went. And then I wouldn't have been able to anyway because my son was home from school sick this week. So anyway, I was feeling sorry for myself the other day, and I was watching the Knitty Stew podcast. If you haven't watched that, please go check it out. It is Leanne. She is a local woman who lives in Calgary. She is a flight attendant, and she takes her knitting projects with her wherever she goes, and she podcasts from the cities that she's overnighting in all over Canada. She's also now flying international, so there might be some international podcasts. I just really love watching her podcast. She chooses really interesting things to knit. She knits beautiful, beautiful things. And she recently knit on her last podcast. She showed her fleur shawl that she made. The fleur shawl is a pattern that was written by Melissa Clulo, who used to be one of the owners of Espace Tricot. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and it is listed as fleur by Espace Tricot, I think. I'll put a link to it down below. It is a triangle shaped shawl with it's garter stitch and baubles. I actually have made one. Sorry for all the running around. Like I said, my brain is not functioning super well. I made one previously in, this isn't as big as the pattern calls for. This one, I just used one skein of fingering and mohair and just knit as long as I could and then bound off. I didn't want it to be super big. So this yarn was fingering and mohair that we had done at work once. We had done something, and there was a bunch of, after we dyed it, there was a bunch of pink dye left in the pans. So we just threw some fingering and mohair in it, and this is how it turned out. Again, I'm consistent, same like blushy pink. But anyway, Leanne made a version of this shawl she made it into a crescent shape, instead of the like traditional triangle. And go check her out. She's got I think she has pictures of it on her Instagram. She's at the Knitty Stew, and I just fell in love with it. It's so beautiful. She used a natural fingering weight and a Surrey, like a speckled Surrey from Crux Fibers, who is a Canadian dyer. She lives in the Yukon, I think. And it was just absolutely stunning. I fell in love with it immediately and was like feeling sorry for myself. And so I went on the Crux Fibers website. They didn't have the colorway that Leanne had used, but they had one that was very similar, that had a little bit more of like pink purple vibes, which is totally me. And so I ordered that, and I am so excited for it to come. I'm going to copy Leanne and do exactly what she did. And hopefully that will make me as awesome as Leanne. I don't know. Hi, Leanne, if you're watching. I can't wait. I'm very excited to make that. I also, yesterday, my friend Tina, who is This Girl Knits on Instagram, posted that she had received her Cozy Knitter Advent skein, and she posted a black and white picture of it. And so I said, please send me the photo, the color photo, because I want to see it, because I didn't order it. I have ordered the Cozy Knitter Advent skein in previous years, and I decided I wasn't going to do it this year. And of course she changed it this year, and it's like she has said on her, I'm not spoiling anything, she has said on her listings it's different this year, and it's a more of a gradient. And when my friend sent me the picture of it, I was like, oh, I immediately regret not buying this. And then she said, I think she still has some in her shop. So I went and ordered that too. So that's coming too. And now that I'm back knitting socks, apparently I can order, it's a self-striping Advent skein, if you don't know. You knit one color of one stripe each day. So there's 24 stripes. So now that I'm knitting socks again, I guess I will make some Advent socks. I actually have another 24 stripe, or I don't know if it's 24. I've talked about the Wool Baron before, Louise. She's one of my favorites. She makes beautiful yarn, and she's such a nice, I just love her. I went and gave her a big hug when I saw her at Shindig a few weeks ago. Anyway, I ordered her Advent skein a long time ago, and so that should be coming soon too. And that is another one where it's sock yarn and you knit one stripe every day. And so I'm very excited for that to come. I'm almost done. Can you leave it, please? They're getting antsy. I wasn't gonna get any Advents this year, and then it seemed like every time these Advents got posted, I was in like one of those moods where like, I'm just gonna order that and it's gonna make me feel better. And so I have done that a few times. So I also have the Ocean Loops stitch marker Advent coming, which I'm very excited about. I love Lolly, and I love everything she makes. So I'm very excited for that one to come. And my big one is I ordered the Yarn Ink Advent, which is 24 20-gram fingering weight minis. I have gotten one Yarn Ink Advent in a past year, and I absolutely loved it. And I made a habitation throw with it. I held it together with mohair. It is the most expensive blanket on the face of the earth, because I had to use like, I don't know, 3 skeins of mohair or something. Anyway, I'm very excited about that coming too. She has also said that the 24 colors are a fade. So I'll put a picture up here of the like color inspo that she posted when she was selling the Advents, and it was very much my vibe. So I am very excited for that to come. I have not decided what I'm gonna make with it yet. There are a lot of things that are possible. I was thinking maybe another blanket. I don't know. I'm just waiting for the right thing to just pop up in my feed, I guess. I don't know. If you have any really awesome Advent pattern suggestions, please put them down below. I would really appreciate that. My boss Shelly has a really great Advent pattern that's like an infinity cowl, so that's one of the possibilities. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, so please let me know below if you have a good suggestion. Yeah, this is long, and my kids are playing outside and making noises, and my my furnace just came on, so you can probably hear that. Yeah, the other thing that's been making me feel better, sorry for the crinkling, the candy cane mini eggs are back. I'm so excited. Like, these and the Cadbury cream eggs are my favorite things on the entire planet. My favorite candy, my favorite chocolate. These haven't been, like, maybe last year or 2 years ago they started making these, and I am obsessed with them. So I had to go to the grocery store the other day to load up on kids' Tylenol, etc. And I walked in and these were there, and I bought a number of the bags of them. So that's also been making me feel better. But I also have a Christmas party coming up in a few weeks that I have a dress that I have to fit into, so that's also, it'll be fine. Yeah, I think that was all I was going to talk about. I did have something that was in my brain that I was going to talk. Anyway, it's gone. Well, I don't think that was quite as much of a shit show as it could have been. Yeah. I've been meaning to talk about, a lot of podcasters, knitting podcasters, also talk about the books that they're reading and the shows that they're watching and stuff. I don't read a lot of books. I used to read a lot. But then I started knitting, and knitting took over my life. So I do still read, like, occasionally, but when I read, I listen to the book on Audible. I don't particularly love probably about 90% of the books the way they're narrated. I don't like it, and then I can't get into it. So that is a problem, but I do have a book that I've been reading as part of a book club all year. And I have a physical copy of it, and I listen to it because the authors are the narrators in the Audible book. Sorry, my bangs are having a moment. This is the book. It's called White Women: Everything You Already Know About Your Own Racism and How to Do Better. The authors are Regina Jackson and Saira Rao. They are, they started with, the way this book got started was after George Floyd and like kind of the racism reckoning that happened in 2020. They started hosting dinners called Race to Dinner, and they were dinners for white women. Regina is a beautiful Black woman and Saira is a beautiful brown woman, and they were hosting dinners where a white woman would organize it and have all of her white friends over for a dinner, and Regina and Saira would come and they would talk about racism, and they would talk about white women and white women's racism in particular. And so they made a little documentary about it, and I highly recommend watching that as a starting off point. It is called Deconstructing Karen, and it is excellent. If you, I don't know, ever since 2020, I'm one of those white women who it didn't affect me, so I didn't really care that much about it. And then after 2020, I started deep diving into anti-racism, doing the work. Like, there's a lot of people that are just like, ooh, I'm listening and learning, but I have been doing my work. It's also performative to like tell everybody, you know, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. But this book is excellent. And there was a book club, what was it? There was a bookstore that I follow on Instagram, and they were organizing an online book club. So we meet on Zoom once a month, and we talk about a chapter every month, and it has been excellent. I highly recommend this book, White Women, and I'll put the title and stuff down below. It's an excellent book if you're looking for more information about anti-racism, and especially what white women can do. Anyway, there's another book that I haven't started reading yet. I just downloaded. I mean, this video is already long, so I might as well just keep going. There's a transgender activist that I follow on Instagram. Well, there's a number of them, but this one in particular just wrote a book. His name is Schuyler Bailar, and he just wrote a book that was just released within the last few weeks. It's called He, She, They. I will put a link to that down below as well. And he is a transgender man who is just a very vocal, very smart, very informative activist on Instagram, and he just wrote a book. He's like an NCAA level swimmer, so he's dealt with like the whole transgender people in sports, all that kind of stuff. So I'm very interested to read that book, and I've got it on Audible. I'm almost done reading my White Women book, And once I'm done that, I will start on that. So I highly recommend looking that one up too. Anyway, I gotta go deal with my kids. So thank you for watching. I hope that wasn't too much of a, I don't know. I feel like I used to be more fun and I'm not as fun anymore, but I try to be fun. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Thank you. Oh, also, let's just keep this rolling. Why don't we? I keep forgetting to tell you, if you like my videos, please hit that like button. Please hit the subscribe button. It helps. My subscriber level, like, I mean, it started out low, it went high, and it's been fairly stable, and that doesn't matter. But like, if you guys like it, please subscribe. Please, like, one of my favorite things in the world, like, you know, after the Grocery Girls publish an episode, or like Needles at the Ready published an episode, and then for the next few days their stories are just full of people like posting pictures of themselves knitting while watching their, like, I would love to see you guys do that. Like, post a picture in your stories, tag me if you're watching this, show your whip. I want to see what you're working on. Like, I love spending time, like, this is like me spending time with you because I love all my knitting friends. And please share that, and then I'll share it in my stories, and it all helps. It all helps to spread the word. And I mean, it doesn't matter how many subscribers I have, but it's nice to keep growing and seeing more people and making more friends. So, okay, I'll stop talking now. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time.